Hi and welcome to another video. I am back. I just spent the weekend away at a festival, and so I thought, because it is now February, I thought I would go through all of the books that I've read in January. So yeah, I'll just get started. So first book I read was Fat Dad Fat Kid by Shea Butler and Gavin Butler. This book I gave 4 stars out of 5. I really did enjoy it. I found that it was really cool to read from Shay's perspective and Gavin's perspective. They're both YouTubers, and I just started watching them last year. They've been doing it for a really long time, but they do vlogs mostly, and they just share their lives, and it was just incredibly transparent. I loved how Shay took a lot of really great fitness and health ideas and kind of brought it all in together, but in a way that was really real and not cheesy. I love the way he talks about health and fitness in a way that he says he wants not necessarily like to have a ridiculously amazing body or anything like that, but he just wants to be able to do stuff with his kids, and he just really honors his family and his wife, and it's really beautiful. And I just really enjoyed it. I think it was just a really easy read. I read it in like a day. It was really good. So the second book that I read in January was We Were Liars by E. Lockhart, and this book was incredible. I gave it 5 stars. The plot was amazing. The plot twist, I didn't see it coming. A lot of people said they did. I did a review for this book itself, which I will link below if you want to know more of my thoughts. The third book I read was Flowers in the Attic by V.C. Andrews. I also did review this one, so I will leave it down below. I gave it a 3 out of 5 star rating. I enjoyed it for the most part, but what kind of happened to the characters made me really uncomfortable, and I didn't really like it. It is part of a series, but I will not continue the series, and yeah, I didn't really like it. Like I liked the characters up until they made decisions that I couldn't quite understand or agree with, and then it lost me. But I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. The fourth book I read was really challenging and amazing, and I kind of want to do a full review on it because I think more people should read it. It is by an Australian author. It's called Breakfast School Run Chemo. Sometimes funny, definitely not depressing, true story of a mum with cancer, and it's by Julia Watson. And this book just really touched me in a way that no other book really has. My mum has been, was in October was diagnosed with breast cancer, and so I saw this book and I just thought, oh my goodness, it's from the mother's perspective. I really wanted to kind of understand what it was like for a mother to really go through the treatment process of cancer. What are you doing? Julia is diagnosed with terminal cancer. My mother's cancer is not terminal. She's in the process of getting treatment and stuff, so yeah. But the way that Julia writes is incredibly transparent. I love books that are really honest and just don't shy away from the true feelings of what is actually going on. I feel like sometimes as authors, people feel like they have to not go into certain detail or not share the whole truth or something like that, and I just feel like she really just let us have it as the readers. She talked a lot about her family and the concerns that she had for her family, about being totally aware that her time was so limited, but it was so amazing to read something from a mother's perspective, because I can only understand, you know, my experience of cancer from a daughter's perspective, and knowing, you know, that it's somebody else going through it but not really going through it myself, and really wrestling with the right things to say and do. And she even has a whole section in it of things not to say to people with cancer, and it's really quite cool. Like I think a lot more people should be reading books like this that are just really honest and beautiful. It is actually still a recent book. It only came out last year, and I gave it 4 stars out of 5. I feel like maybe I should give it a full review. I don't know, but it was really quite touching. And the way, I just remembered, she talks about the things that she did because she was diagnosed with cancer. She cut her hair and did it in like this like platinum blonde mohawk, and she got a tattoo, and she just let things go a little bit, and she just had a really amazing time. And I think it's just such a challenge of how we all need to live our lives, is to just do stuff that brings us joy and makes us happy, and to not be scared, because life is short regardless, you know, of what happens to us. We should be living it to the fullest. So I loved this book. The next book I read was What We Saw by Aaron Hartzler. This book, I did give a review, so I will leave it down below. I gave it 5 stars. Amazing book. Totally think everyone should be reading it. I think young people definitely need to read it. About a girl another girl that she knows gets sexually assaulted at a party, and lots of people that she knows were there, and it's a small town vibe, and it's kind of all these different tensions about consent and social media, and it's from a really cool perspective, and the writing is beautiful. The way the story is unfolded and told is just unravels perfectly, and I gave it 5 stars. I totally loved it. Next book I read, I actually have the real book here with me, and it was Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I gave this a 4 out of 5 star rating. I have given this one also a full rating, which I will leave the link below, about what my real thoughts about this book are. I really love this book. I didn't love it for a really long time, but the last half of the book just gripped me in a whole new way, and I really enjoyed it. It was like kind of yeah, when I first was halfway through the book, like I was telling a friend of mine, I was like halfway through the book, and I was like, I'm nearly halfway through, and I just don't really like it, and I feel like I'm not gonna like this book, and I really want to like this book. But the second half, it just gripped me in a new way. I'm so excited about Glass Sword. So excited. The next book I read was Cinder by Marissa Meyer, and the first book in the Lunar Chronicles. I went a bit kind of crazy this month and read a bunch of books that I saw a lot on the booktube kind of side of things, and that a lot of people were talking about, and I just really wanted to be in the loop about. So I thought I would get myself started on the Lunar Chronicles, and I was not disappointed. I have to say, it took me, I didn't do any research on this book before I read it. I didn't listen to any reviews. I just heard that people thought it was amazing, and I didn't want to go in with any preconceptions, so I had no idea that it was going to be sci-fi. I knew it was going to be a retelling of Cinderella, but I didn't know she would be a cyborg, and I didn't really like it in the beginning, how that was starting to play out, but the way Cinder was and the way she was portrayed, I grew to really love her and kind of be on her team. And yeah, it was another book that it took me a little bit to kind of get into, for the world to be built and all of that kind of stuff, but when I was in there, I was just like, this is it, I get it, I just get it now. Like, it was really good. I gave it a 5 out of 5 star rating, and I would definitely be reading the next book very soon. Yeah. Next book I read this month was Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and a lot of people said that they really loved this book, and I have to say, I bought it first on my ebooks for my iPad, and I started reading it on there, and I couldn't really get as much into it. So if you are worried that you might take a little bit of kind of getting into it and stuff like that, I really actually just recommend, I went out and bought the actual book, and I found it a lot more comfortable to be reading the actual book. It feels a lot more organic and right to be reading the actual pages. It feels like you have literally like received the files and you're reading them through. It feels more natural and right, whereas reading it on my iPad, I found I couldn't really connect with it as well. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 star rating. The reason I didn't give it a 5 star rating was because you was thrust so quickly into the world that I found it really hard for a long time in the book to really get my bearings and figure out what was going on. And a lot of the terminology, I liked that they didn't simplify it and dumb it down in terms of the terminology they used, but because of that, I also found it really hard to understand for a good chunk of the book, and it took me a really long time to get into it. But the last maybe like third of the book, I just sped through it. I read it in a couple of hours. It was amazing. The way, the intensity of stuff that happens in the last part of the book is just on a whole nother level, and it was really, really good. So yeah. Oh, that was all of the books that I've read. I did actually also start reading Passenger, Alexandra Bracken, but I didn't, unfortunately I didn't finish it in time for the end of the month. So I read a total of 8 books this month, and so that's about 2 books a week. So I'm quite happy with that. That's definitely trucking along towards my goal, so I'm very excited about that. It's been a really great month of reading. All in all, I've read pretty much all books that I liked and really was drawn to and enjoyed, and I enjoyed reading this month, which is really what it's all about at the end of the day. I wanted on one hand to read more books than I have read in a month, but I also, which happened, but I also wanted to enjoy all of it. I wanted to really enjoy the reading and just sink my teeth into some really, really fun books, and that's what this month totally was. I had an amazing January, and yeah, so thank you for watching some of my videos or none of my videos. It's been a really cool month, so I will see you guys in my next video, and I hope you guys had a great January and have an awesome February.